So hello everyone, Chris here from IELTS Advantage and IELTS Writing Academy, and thank you very much for joining us in this live lesson. So first thing I want you to do is just confirm that you can see me, that you can hear me. Just say, yeah, I can hear you, or okay, or something like that, because I don't want to begin the lesson if things aren't working correctly. And then when we confirm that everything's working okay, then we can start. So we have 80 people joining us live. So I'm going to use my phone to check all of the comments and to check that everything's working okay. So if you just comment below the video at any time. So let me turn this down. We can see you and we can hear you. Thanks for the lesson. We can hear you very clear. Excellent. Thank you very much for letting me know. So next thing I'd like you to do is just put where you're watching from. It's always interesting to see how many people from all different parts of the world join us. So just comment in the comments below. Just let me know where you are from. So let me see. So hi to all the people who are saying hi. Thanks to all. Live lesson. Hello. We can see and hear you. Okay, can hear you very clear. So there's a lot of people, so I'm not going to read out each name because that will take a lot of time. Shimo Thomas, UK, Northern Ireland. Me too. I'm in Northern Ireland. What part of Northern Ireland are you from? Punjab, India, Philippines, India, Vietnam, Manila in the Philippines, Nepal. Wow, so many people. Kuwait. So mostly Asia, South Asia, Middle East sort of area, which is where most people who do the IELTS are from. I think like 75% of people who visit my site are from either the East, Southeast Asia, South Asia, or the Middle East. So Philippines, Malaysia, Laos, Pakistan, someone from County Antrim. I'm below you. I'm in County Down. So I've never had someone from Northern Ireland visit me. Thailand, India, Egypt. Wow, so many people. Okay, so let me explain what we're going to do today. I've been experimenting with these Facebook Live lessons, and in 2016, I was just using my phone and I would just talk into the phone. That wasn't very good because you have to look at my face all the time, which isn't great. But it meant that I couldn't show you like PowerPoints or graphs or questions. I had to just, read everything out to you. So I experimented with different programs and different things, and I found one really good piece of software called Wirecast that allows me to, let me show you, it allows me to show you my screen like that there, and to move back to my face, so I can kind of like be a director and do different things, and it seems to work really well. So what we're going to do is on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm going to do live lessons like this one in the IELTS Advantage, the public group. I can't do them every day because on Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, I do these lessons, and I do different lessons, more advanced lessons for my IELTS Reading Academy group. So Tuesdays and Thursdays is like the public lessons. And what I'll do is I'll record them and then I'll post them in the group, and I'll also post them in my news site. So today's lesson is what I've done is lots of students post the latest questions. And so I had a look around the internet and found 5 recent questions. So these are questions that were asked in November, December 2016. And one thing that students really struggle with is just thinking of good ideas, and then explaining those ideas and then supporting those ideas with examples. So what we're going to do in this lesson is, let me just show you much better than me actually. So let me get this set up from current slide. Nope, that's not going to work. So I've only used this a couple of times, so forgive me if I get a couple of things wrong and it's not as smooth as it should be. Okay, so what we need to do is screen capture this and then go over here and go there. Okay, so I can't see any of your comments on because I'm doing it to the camera, but I have my phone. So if there are any problems, you can't see something, you can't hear something, just let me know and I'll check Facebook on my phone. So let's begin. So what we're going to do today, we're going to look at these recent real questions. So these are questions that actually came up, and they've just been reported by students. So they might not be 100% accurate. They might not be 100% worded the way they were worded in the exam, but it will give you a good idea. And I'll ask you to write down one main idea, an explanation, and an example. So we'll do them one at a time. So I'll show you a question and I'll say to everybody, please write in your ideas. And then we'll look at them and then I'll say, right, support your main idea with explanation. You write in an explanation and then you write in an example, and then I'll show you mine after we discuss your ideas so you can compare with mine. And your ideas don't have to match mine. Like in the IELTS test, there is no one correct answer or one good idea. There might be 100 good ideas. And so if your idea doesn't match exactly with the one I have, don't think that you got the wrong answer or anything like that. It's just for you to compare. So let me see how many people we have live. And this will give me a good idea. Wow, 160. Okay, thank you so much. This is the most people we've ever had. So I'll hopefully get through everybody's comments and things like that, but because we have so many people, don't get angry with me if I don't, give you as much attention as you deserve. And so remember, don't overcomplicate this. So the most obvious answer is normally the best one. So don't be trying to think of the most amazing, most complicated answer in the world. The most obvious, the simplest answer is normally the best. The simple answer is normally the best one. So one thing that students do that's not so good is they overcomplicate everything. The IELTS test is a very, very simple test. Students overcomplicate it. That's the problem with it. Explain it to someone who knows nothing about the topic. So you're going to write your main idea and then you're going to explain that main idea. And think about when you're doing your explanation, think about you're explaining it to someone who knows nothing about the topic, that knows nothing about what you're saying. And that will help you explain your main idea. And then you're going to write an example. Use an example that helps support your specific idea. Just a quick warning, don't expect these questions to come up again, okay? Lots of people go online and they try and find like recent exam questions and think that they can just copy these questions and these questions are going to come up again. They aren't. So these questions will not come up again. So don't think that you can copy them and then prepare answers. This is not what this lesson is about. Memorized answers will get you a band 0. So if you take these answers and then you memorize them and then you try and create an answer, memorize it and write it in the real exam, the examiners are going to spot this and give you a band 0. There are no cheats or tricks to IELTS. If you think there are, leave now. Don't stay for the rest of the lesson. I do not teach cheats or tricks because they don't work and they don't exist. So if you think that this is like I'm going to teach you some tricks, some cheats, just leave because they're not going to help you out. So we have 212 people, 206 people. Okay, 6 people left. Good. So the people who are expecting shortcuts and cheats left. So good. So we have 210 people. Wow. Okay, so let's do question 1 as an example. I'm going to just show you what I'm going to do. So you don't need to write anything in for this one. So the first question is, international travel brings benefits to travelers and the countries visited, but it also causes problems for the environment. Do the disadvantages outweigh the advantages? Okay, so we're not going to get into analyzing the questions or answering the questions in full. We're just looking for some ideas, explanations, and examples. So I'm going to try and think of one idea why travel is good, why, an advantage to travel. Okay, so this is just to show you what I'll be doing. You don't have to write anything in for this. So travel brings enjoyment to people's lives. Very, very simple. That's as simple as it can be. And a good thing about travel is it brings enjoyment. An explanation: travel allows people to take time off work and relax. So when you are off work, when you are relaxing, it's enjoyable. As simple as that. So it's very, very straightforward and simple. And an example: this is why millions of people visit tourist resorts every year. Now, would I write it like this in the real exam? No. These are just my ideas. This is kind of like what I would write for a plan. So it's just to give you an idea of how I would think about it. Okay, so clear about how we're going to do this. So next, we're going to move on to the second question, and this is where I want your feedback. So the second question is: it is important to construct common areas such as parks and playgrounds in all towns and cities. Do you agree or disagree? Okay, so I want you to choose either agree or disagree and think a main reason why you agree or disagree. Okay, don't think about examples or explanations, just think of one idea and write it down. Okay, so I'll give you 2 minutes to do that. It shouldn't take you very long. Wow, 234 people live. That's the most we've ever had. And if you're one of these people that just likes to watch and listen, again, this is probably a waste of your time. The people who are actually participating and write something in, they're the people that are going to learn from this. If you don't participate, if you don't write a comment, then you're kind of wasting your time. Just listening to someone is not really going to help you out. So try to do. So, Patricia Ante, I agree, it provides a great way for children to have physical exercise. Excellent idea. Oh, again, sorry for if I mispronounce anyone's name. I'm dealing with people from about 50 different countries, so if I mispronounce your name, sorry about that. Ramandeep should be open because of health benefits. Good. Patricia Ante, it can create an area to socialize community. Good. Sam Dane, I agree. Okay, why do you agree? Noha, it gives a chance to be together. Good idea. Any more? EM Mabudi, I strongly agree because it helps children to interact with other people. Good. Ahmed, family gather together. Good. Sak Bank Bank, good name. Okay, so you're still on the traveling one. Jackson Lawrence provides a platform for socialization. Good. Zoe improves people's healthy lifestyle. Good. Nicole Amy, children can have fun. Yeah, it doesn't have to be any more complicated than that. Okay, so there's a lot here. Um, I agree. Abby, people need to be more socially inclined. Okay. Lucy, physical activities allows people to relax. Okay, so lots of ideas about it allows people to relax, it allows people to socialize, it allows people to exercise and get healthy, spend time with each other, spend time with their families. All excellent ideas. Okay, so I'm going to put my main idea. So my main idea is allows people to relax in a nice environment for free. Okay, so people can relax and it's free, and that's my main idea. So what I would like you to do is just explain that idea. Okay, so when you write your main idea, you can't just leave it at that. You have to explain what you mean. So why are parks relaxing? Why are they free? How do they provide free, relaxing environment? Think about that and write a short explanation. And some people are making obviously a lot of people are making vocabulary mistakes, vocabulary or grammar mistakes. Don't worry about this, all right? It's not a grammar class. It's not a vocabulary class. We're just thinking about ideas and how to explain them and how to support them. Don't let grammar and vocabulary hold you back. I'm not going to criticize your grammar or your vocabulary. We're just focusing on ideas. Like in the real exam, grammar and vocabulary are 50% of your marks. That's important, obviously, but when we're just practicing, don't let it stop you, writing. Don't think that I'm going to criticize you or anything like that. Okay, so people are still sending in their ideas. Good. So now write an explanation. Explain my main idea. So one of the big problems that students have in the test is they're very good at, well, not everyone's very good at it, but what we see mostly when we mark exams is people do have ideas, but they don't explain those ideas. And if you want to be getting the band sevens, bands eight, band nines, you need to fully develop your answer. And I specialize in helping people who need band seven, band eight. So this is why we're doing this. Okay, Jenny, nature promotes an overall feeling of peace and calm. So that's very good. It's a good explanation about why parks allow people to relax. And then a number of people have said just explaining, why parks are free, and that's good as well. And Noah, open areas are very important to relax, and you don't have to pay for it. Good. So you could explain why you don't have to pay for it. Normally the government or the city or whatever it is pays for it, or your taxes pay for it. Somebody always pays for it. Um, yeah, people can relax because they don't have to pay any money. Yeah, so if you are someone who doesn't have a lot of money at the moment, it's relaxing to know that you don't have to pay any money. Green trees and sports equipment, marina, good. Open green spaces influence our health positively, good. Sauna, they're usually sponsored by local authorities, so you don't have to pay, good. Tanya, that is to say that people of all income retain chances to gather with their friends, especially organized facilities sponsored by the government. Good. Okay. All very good. These are much better than I thought they were going to be. So well done to everybody. It's kind of easier to do it in this way when somebody breaks it down and simplifies it for you. Whenever you see just one question and you have to do the whole essay, it's quite difficult to do it all in one go. But if you break it down into the simple parts of it, then it becomes much easier. Okay, all right, so good ideas. Let's look at my idea. Common areas are free because they are provided by the government, city, and they are enjoyable. All right, so am I going to write this in my essay? No, I'm going to elaborate a lot more, but this is just, my basic ideas. This is what I would write when I'm planning. So common areas are free because they're provided by the government or the city or the council or whoever it is, and they are enjoyable. So I would elaborate a little bit more about why parks are enjoyable. We talk about some ideas that we had, there are water features, there's green spaces, open spaces, places where children can play, very, very basic ideas. And like pretend you're just talking to a friend. And if you were talking to a friend and you were explaining to them why parks are good, what would you say? You'd say just basic things like this. Don't try to overcomplicate it. Okay, so an example. So what I want you to do now is I want you to think of an example, and I'm not going to help you with this. I'm not going to tell you what to write. I just want you to to think of one example. What would you write in your essay? And again, you don't have to think of an amazing, long idea. Just think of something quite simple. And if you don't hear anything from my end, um, it doesn't. I haven't left or anything. So okay, so 1 minute to write in your example, and just be very, very quick with this. Don't be trying to think of a very long sentence or anything like that. Just think of a, in note form. We're not writing a full essay here. We're kind of like, this is kind of like our plan. So, Tatey Lolly, Central Park in New York, excellent example. Central Park in New York is probably the most famous park in the world. Um, so that's a very, very, as soon as you write that, the examiner knows that what you're talking about. Katrin, a lot of mothers stroll out in such areas with their born babies to get some fresh air. Good. Shinor, in my hometown, talk about a personal example in your hometown. Good. Lucy, you're talking about gardens. Okay, so that's not really relevant to the question. We're not talking about gardens. Sana, a recent survey shows that 70% of British people visit parks at the weekend. Yeah, you could use like make up survey results to help support your view. Randeep, so you're talking about retired people and young people. Good. Dana, it was shown by several sociological studies that people who regularly spend their leisure time in open spaces such as parks are happier. Excellent. Amar, walking barefoot on green grass promotes healthy eyes. I didn't know that. I can't do that at the moment because it's too cold outside, but in the summertime I'll try that out, see if it improves my eyesight. Um, Marina could be any park in my town. Yep, good. Sack Bank's talking about a local example in Lao. Okay, excellent example. So the one I had was the first one. So any park in any city in the world. So just pick, it could be a famous park like Central Park in New York, Hyde Park in London, Botanical Gardens in Sydney, um, or it could be just your local park in your local village or town. All you have to do is link it to the specific example. So if I show you with this, so your example should support your explanation, and they both should support your main idea. They should be linked together, and then everything should answer the specific question. So that's a good way to think about it. Okay, so I think we spent enough time with that one. Well done, everyone. That was really good. So let's move on to the next one. So question 3. So we're going to do the exact same thing with 3 more questions, 3, 4, and 5. And so what time is it? It is 11:40. So yeah, 20 minutes. We should be done by about 12. So the next question is, many people were involved in sports as children, but don't do any physical exercise as adults. What are the reasons adults avoid physical exercise? Now, I know this question is asking you for reasons, plural, because it's just a class. What I want you to do is just think of one reason why adults avoid physical exercise and read the first sentence in the question. So the first sentence in the question is about, what happens when people grow up, when people are not children anymore. So 1 minute, don't think, it's not a PhD thesis. It's not a book. Just think of one idea, 1 minute. Please click or comment below. So we have 189 people and we only have about 50 people commenting. So the other 150 people, try and comment because that's going to help you out. I'm not trying to get more comments or anything like that. I just would prefer you guys to learn something. Okay, so some ideas coming in. Shinor, old age diseases. Okay. Optimistic man, increased responsibilities as an adult. Good. Robin, hectic schedule. Good. Katarina, they're too busy. Good. Rajini, lack of time. Good. Basanta, busy in their job. So the rest of them are hectic schedule, less energy when you're an adult. Certainly true. I don't understand how my little boy's 2.5 and he just runs all day. I have no idea how he does it. I wish I had his energy. Okay, so most of the ideas seem to be hectic schedule, don't have time, people don't have the physical ability. All of these are very, very good ideas. And it's surprising how many people I speak to say that they they can't think of ideas in the test. But when we in class, when I do things like this, when I do things like this in IELTS Writing Academy, people have no problem thinking of ideas. So, have more confidence in yourself that you can think of ideas. Okay, so let's look at my idea. My idea is very, very simple. They do not have time. So the simplest, most obvious one is the one I choose. Why do I choose that? Because it's easy to explain, it's easy to support with an example, and the examiner is going to probably, recognize this and know that I have answered the question. The simple answers are the best. Okay, so next, what I want you to do, thank you to everybody your for your ideas. Sorry I can't get through every one of them, but there's so many people. What I want you to do next is explain my idea. So or I'm not even going to explain what you have to do. I'll give you 1 minute, explain my idea. Okay, so let's look at some of the other ones. Jeza, they have other priorities, good. Basim, adults are busy, good. Fatma, busy with other things, good. Ivana, time constraints, good. Taddy, the difficulty is to explain or expand the idea. So yeah, lots of people think that it's difficult to explain the main idea. What I normally tell my students is don't assume that the examiner knows what you're talking about. Imagine that you are writing to someone who knows nothing about what you're saying. Because the difference between writing and speaking is with speaking, somebody can ask you, follow-up questions. They can tell you that they don't understand. With writing, the person doesn't have that opportunity. So what you need to do with writing is you need to anticipate what questions that person might have and explain everything fully so that they don't have to ask you any follow-up questions. Okay. Okay, so some explanations. Fatma, because when you grow up, um, you don't have time. Good. Mina, life commitments, children, time gets harder. Yeah. Lucy, adults are concentrated on their work and they need to support a family. Good. Adults are busy with family and other commitments. Good. McGuy, adults have other priorities. Yes. So, I can't pronounce that name. They're busy with their job. Yes. So yeah, so these are all very, very good. Different priorities. They're tired from working. They're focused on their families. Their increased responsibilities. Okay, all very, very good, very simple ones. Like simple is not a negative word in IELTS. Simple is kind of like the most positive word an IELTS teacher can give you um, when you're thinking of ideas and explaining them. So very well done. So my explanation is adult life has responsibilities that are more important than sports. So things like children, your family, work, all of these things that become a fact of life when you become an adult. And what I would do is I would explain that a little bit more in the essay. So I would explain what those responsibilities are and why they are more important than sports. So I mean, your job is obviously more important. You have to make money. Um, that's more important than going and playing football or something like that. Your children are more important than going to the gym. You can't really turn around to your child and say, "Sorry, I can't see you this weekend. I'm lifting weights." Like, or maybe you do. No, not judging if you do that. Okay, so let's think of an example. So think of one example that is linked to my idea. So remember, we've linked this here. Now we need to link our example. So we have a nice, coherent, cohesive paragraph. And think of one example. And thank you to everybody who has liked and gave me hearts and everything like that. It's really nice for people to do that. So work, family, yeah, just simple ideas. Work and family, career, these are all really good ideas. Good, Jenny. So talking about your mom, using a personal example. Lots of people think that you can't use personal examples. Like some personal examples are better than others. If you use a personal example that doesn't actually prove the point, doesn't actually show what doesn't isn't linked to the main idea and doesn't actually show that what you're talking about is kind of universal, then it's not a very good idea to use personal examples. But if you use a personal example that is linked to your main idea and helps you demonstrate your point, like just saying like um, something like, for example, I'm very tired when I come home from work and therefore I don't go to the gym. Like that's showing that you are tired, but what about the other, 4 billion adults in the world? Show something that shows that a significant number of people are like you. Sana, recent research reveals that 66% of men in London do not work out regularly because of their busy work schedules. Okay, so good. Sana has used like recent research. You can use like studies and things like that. If you're using them, just make sure they sound believable. Don't, you know, try not to annoy the examiner by, you know, using something that doesn't sound like something that you've obviously made up. Um, okay, good. Okay. Oh. Okay, so everyone's talking about responsibilities and work and things like that and family. Mine is just use a personal example. So I'm going to use a personal example to talk about my job and my responsibilities. And I would just add in there, like other men who, or like other people who work for a living or have children, they spend, you spend 8 hours a day in work. You might have to spend 3 or 4 hours a day with your children, a couple of hours in the morning, a couple of hours in the evening, and that doesn't really leave much time to go to the gym. So I would use my example, but I would show how I'm very similar to lots of other people. Okay, so let's move on to question 4. Question 4 is, nowadays more and more research is being carried out and sponsored by private organizations. Do the advantages outweigh the disadvantages? So if you're joining us live for the first time, you just joined us, all I want you to do is think of one idea. Um, so let's just stick with the advantages. So think of one reason why this is a good thing. Just one reason why you think this is a good thing. And thank you to everybody who has commented so far. I really appreciate it. And it's going to really help you out by, you know, listening to someone. Like if you go on my website and you read an article or you go and you watch a video, that's all good. But what you need to do is you need to actually do the thing. You need to, when you're listening to me or when you're, reading an article on my website or any website, write it down, put it in your own words, and then actually do the thing, actually practice using it. I see a few people from IELTS Writing Academy, so welcome to those people. I see Tanya, I see Gyro, Ebby, Optimistic Man. So thank you to those people who are joining us. You're getting a double dose of lessons this week. Okay, so lots of great ideas, and let me go through some of them. More flexibility, yeah, private companies are more flexible than public companies. Jenny, so you're just talking about um, research in general. This question isn't about research in general. Taddy, more money for research? Yeah, like lots of private companies, private individuals have more money than the government. And Nguyen Man Hung, they're so lazy. Talking about the government, okay. I would agree with you. Um, but not all governments. Not everybody works for government. Um, More reliable than the government research centers, yeah. Not limited by moral or religious considerations. Tanya, where did you get that idea? I wonder. Well, thank you. Dill Dev, it helps shed some light on things people knew. Okay, so Dill, so looking at your ideas, this is a really good mistake that people are making. So the mistake that people are making is they're talking about research in general. That isn't, so they're saying like, it's good to research things. It's, research leads to discoveries. That's not what the question is asking you about. The key here, the key word here, and this is why question analysis is so important, is private. Private, sponsored by private organizations, but the key word here is private. So this is a question about private funding versus public funding. Public funding is funding that comes from a government. So if you want to research how to cure cancer, and the government gives you money to do that, that is public money. It's money that's owned by the public because the public pay their taxes to the government. Private money is money that comes from wealthy individuals, companies, or charities. So there are big charities in every country that try to cure diseases and help people out, but that's private money. Okay, so that's when you make a mistake like that, don't think, oh my God, I'm so stupid and I'm never going to pass the exam. Don't think like that. What you should be thinking is, I'm glad I made that mistake because that will mean that I won't make that mistake again. So when you make mistakes, you should be really happy about it, because that means you won't do it in the test. So So lots of people did make that mistake, but don't worry about it. So let's look at my idea. So private organizations have more freedom to choose. So private organizations have more freedom to choose. So what do I mean by that? So try to explain that. Try to guess, or not guess, but make an educated guess as to what I mean by that. Please write in an explanation. And then we have one more question after this. So it'll be a bit, or will be another 10, 15 minutes, or something like that. So we've gone from 210 people to 160 people. So thank you to the 160 people. Those other 50 people who left, some of them might have been busy, but some of them probably just can't be bothered putting in the effort. So if you remained, well done. Santosh, more freedom to choose where and how much to spend based on what the organization believes in. Good. Um, Katarina, government is very restricted as to follow many rules and choosing research. Good. Sudhanshu, is that how you say your name? Probably not. Private organizations have more money and are not under pressure of government. Good. They have more money. Okay. Government funding research are usually targeted and focused towards areas in need. Good. Mohammed, private organizations have freedom to choose the research topics they think. Okay, so lots of people are saying, and this is correct, um, you know, private organizations have more freedom, they can choose whatever you want, but be very careful in your explanation that you don't just repeat your main idea. So my main idea is private organizations have more freedom to choose, and lots of people are just kind of repeating that. So what you have to do is kind of drill down into the why. Why do private organizations have more freedom than government? What is it about a private organization compared to a public organization that allows them to have more freedom to choose what they research, what they spend their money on? Uh, what one mistake that is common in the test is just repeating the same thing with your explanation and not really getting into the who, what, why, where, how. Imagine, if you have you ever had one of those teachers that just kept asking you why, or so what, why, so what, explain more, please explain more. You have to, I know it requires a bit more effort, but that's how you'll get, the higher marks in the test, if you explain it a bit more. Like I normally get my students to write like at least one long explanation sentence, but normally two explanation sentences, just to make sure that they explain everything properly. Okay, so let's look at my explanation. Private sector does not have to worry about political or religious considerations. So many governments around the world have to be politically correct. So they have to do things for political reasons, or they might have to do things, depending on what country it is, for religious reasons. Let's think of in America, there was a big debate about whether you could use stem cell research. And because a lot of people in America are Christian, they didn't want that to happen. And so there was no research on stem cells because of religious considerations and political considerations. Normally governments have to do what most people want rather than what is actually required. And that could be like a political reason. Okay, so think of one I'll just show you. I've kind of revealed the examples already, but my example would be medical testing on certain recreational drugs. So there are lots of drugs like the drug psilocybin, which can be used to treat things like mental conditions like depression, post-traumatic stress disorder. Lots and lots of research is being done in America at the moment. John Hopkins University is doing a lot on treating people with depression with this drug called psilocybin, and psilocybin is illegal. It is used in magic mushrooms, and therefore governments don't want to be seen to be soft on drugs. They don't want to be seen as you know, promoting the use of recreational drugs, so they won't fund that type of thing. But wealthy individuals who believe in this do fund it. So that's a very interesting thing to look up. So if you have time, look that up. It's very, very interesting. John Hopkins University research on that. But that's another thing. So question 5, our last question. Children nowadays have fewer responsibilities compared to the past. Some people say it is beneficial for children. Others claim it is not a good approach. Discuss both views and give your own opinion. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're just going to look at this bit. Some people say it is beneficial. So I want you to think of one reason, just one reason, why having fewer responsibilities as a child could be beneficial to that child. Okay, so 2 minutes to think of that. And normally I do a Q&A session, but I don't think I'm going to have time for a Q&A session after this. But what I'll do is I'll give you a link um, that will answer all your questions, or 99% of your questions. Okay, so children have more time to play, they can focus on their studies, they have more time to study, focus on their studies, all good, more time to learn. Okay, they're all good ideas. So everybody thinks that um, children having fewer responsibilities means that they will automatically study more. Maybe in your country, children will just automatically study more, but in where I live, they definitely, if you give them freedom, they're definitely not going to hit the books. 90% of them aren't. But that's not saying that your ideas aren't good. They are good. Most people in this country, where I'm from, would assume that studying is a responsibility, but that's debatable because I have been in other countries where children are extremely keen to study and they would actually do that. Okay, all good ideas. Right, let's look at my idea. So it's a good thing because children have more time to pursue their interests. So quick explanation, what do you think I mean by that? I'm not going to explain to you what that means. All very good ideas, explanations. Okay. Sassy, responsibilities as children can make them as adults more responsible. Okay, so you're going the other way, answering the other bit. That's fine. Jenny, to develop their talents and skills. Good idea. You know, instead of just doing stuff their parents want them to do. Fat man play and eat junk food as much as they can. Would eating junk food as much as they can be a beneficial thing? Maybe you're answering the other side of the question. Help them to discover their passion in life. Good, excellent. Always a good thing. You can spend time on their hobbies and sports, keep them healthy. Good. Spend more time on their hobbies, spend more time on their interests, save energy. Okay, good. Let's look at my explanation. They can do what they want to do rather than what their parents or teachers say. So that's my explanation. And I'll show you my example because, to be honest with you, I've been speaking for quite a long time, nearly an hour, and my voice is starting to go. It's more difficult than you think to talk for an hour. So I'll just show you this last one. So any child you can think of that has achieved something independent of their parents or teachers. Okay. So that would be my example. All right. So normally at the end of was not allowing me to end this. Oh, because it's just saying this. Discard. Okay, so normally what I would do is, oh, the computer's going to crash. Okay, so we have some problems. The computer might crash, so if it does, thank you to everybody who attended, but please stay see if it does cope with it. Doing these live streams and this program requires a huge amount of computing power, and even though my computer is pretty good, it's struggling at the moment. But I don't want to click anything else because if I do, it will just crash. So people are asking, are we done already? Not yet. We might be if the computer crashes, but okay. So we'll leave it at that, and we'll leave it there. What I wanted to just show you was I don't have time to take Q&A, do a Q&A, but if you go to IELTSadvantage.com, we're redesigning it at the moment. We've got a new homepage and a new layout, a new theme for IELTSadvantage.com. But at the top, I put an FAQ section. So if you click the FAQ section, it will take you to a place where all of your questions are answered, and that will help you out. Anything else? No, go to IELTSadvantage.com, let me know, and just let me know what you thought of this. Did you like this format, this live format? Did it help you out? Is there anything you didn't like? Is there anything you want more of, less of? Just let me know. And someone is at my door, so I think that's a good time to end the stream. So thank you to everybody, and just let me know what you think. Okay.